On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, will history be kind to the Colorado Avalanche if Brock Nelson goes elsewhere? Let's talk about it on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciate it. If you want to get in on the conversation, join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. We will be doing that quite a bit over the next few weeks, and really the entire offseason, and really the regular season, really all the time with Subtext. But specifically now we are into grade season, and we get people from Subtext grades and thoughts, which we're starting today with Mackenzie Blackwood. So we go alphabetically. We do this every offseason, start at the top, and he's your first guy. So we'll get to Blackwood in a minute.
Yeah, this is
early thoughts on that.
Oh, this is fine for me. I'm a teacher now, so grades. I'm going to grade you not on a curve.
Yeah, this is just practice for the real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when you give kids grades, you're like, not as good as Mackenzie Blackwood. This
you're
year,
somewhere
Johnny.
between Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood.
Step it up, Johnny. All right. So we'll get to that in a minute. But where we wanted to start was, like we said in the opening, you're hearing some chirping going on around the Brock Nelson stuff, and if he is going elsewhere or signing with the Avalanche, and you're hearing some things. I saw Dater's post on it, and say what you want about Dater. We had him on the episode. He's a nice guy. He's dialed in. Like he doesn't put stuff out there unless he's pretty confident in it. And his post that I saw, and other people were posting too, but his post was not looking good for Brock Nelson to come back to the Avalanche. So that kind of just started like a narrative for me, and thinking of, man, like if this ends with him going somewhere else, how do you look back on? And maybe that's unfair to do with this trade, but people are going to do it anyway. People had thoughts when it happened, and people are having thoughts now that the season is over. And if you got him for a rental, and what went out was a pretty hefty amount, which is kind of what they had to pay to get him, because there was going to be a team to give up something similar to that. How are you looking back on it? So let's just go ahead and say he signed somewhere else. A lot of people are feeling Minnesota because that's where he grew up. I'll have my thoughts on that in a minute, but just give me your take on this, on if Brock Nelson does not come back. Is that just, I mean, it just twists the knife even more, but does it change your thoughts on pulling the trigger on the deal to begin with?
All right, let's just, because this also comes into effect when we talk about our grades. We're talking about last year only. We're not projecting to the future. We're talking right now. Like this is the end of story. The Brock Nelson deal. You got Brock Nelson, and you shipped out Callum Ritchie, a 2026 conditional, Oliver Shillington for a rental,
And a 2028 third.
Yeah, and a 2028 third.
Yeah.
At the time, this was you knew what you were getting. If this was a rental, fine. You know why he was on the market in the first place? Because Lou Lamoriello asked him, hey, you want to re-sign? And Brock said, money. I want lots of money. And Lou said, never mind. We're rebuilding. You're on the block. And he is a Colorado Avalanche. If you're looking at what he gave you in the regular season, fine. Helped you get there. Looked great. In the playoffs, 4 assists. Okay. But you went into this knowing this is a rental. All likelihood next year for the Islanders, Callum Ritchie will be seeing top, maybe second line minutes. The hype is real around Callum Ritchie on Long Island. Hindsight, was it worth it? Probably not. because
Right.
you're still looking for a 2C. I would have liked to see, if you made this grand of a move, something with a little bit more long-term effect. But at the time, you wanted to make the playoffs. You wanted to make that push, recovering from a disastrous start. So at the time, they wanted to make a push for the playoffs. I don't think this was our answer for 2C long-term.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate boom or bust move. And if it works, everybody that pulled the strings to make it happen, namely Chris McFarland, looks like a genius, looks brilliant, looks like Einstein. And if it doesn't work, you get where we are at kind of right now. We're on the cusp of it. Because like I said, we're going forward and feeling like, okay, like if he does not sign here, that's the worst case scenario. Let's just talk about that. Could he still sign with the Avalanche? Sure. You've seen crazier things happen where the narrative is like, oh, it's not looking good, not going to do it, and then it happens. But just for the purpose of this segment, this discussion, let's talk about if he does not sign. Does it look bad? It's tough. Like, I hate being the guy just doing like revisionist history and saying like, oh, well, now it looks horrible. And you can't fully say that maybe for another couple years to see what happens with Callum Ritchie.
Yeah.
Because if Callum Ritchie just turns out to be just an okay guy, middle six, bottom six guy for the Islanders, you can go back and see, then you can do the revisionist history thing again and say, well, it didn't turn out to be, it didn't work out for the Avalanche because they didn't win the cup with him. They only had him for, a handful of games, whatever. Then you can do that. If Callum Ritchie works out for the Islanders, yes, it didn't go the way nothing about this deal worked for the Avalanche, nothing. But it's, one of those things for at the time, did I understand it? Sure. But this is kind of another reason why the Avs really don't do rentals a lot as far as big names. You're always going to have rentals for, filling the holes, plugging the holes, bottom six guys. Those are going to happen. You're going to get those rentals pretty much every year. It's going to happen. Whether at the trade deadline or at the beginning of the season when you signing up for one season, whatever. The Avs typically don't go after the biggest name on the trade market. They don't do that a lot. And this is kind of why.
Yeah.
Because now you've lost draft picks, you lost your best prospect, and will that do damage to the Avalanche for you? I mean, they have a good nucleus right now at the pro level. So no, but it might take you. If you don't get those draft picks back, it might take you a couple years to fill Callum Ritchie's role in the prospect pool. So that's where it takes a couple years. I don't think it hurts you too much at the NHL level, but it doesn't hurt you because of what Ritchie could have brought to you. It hurts you where it hurts you at the pro level is answering the questions again about who's your 2C guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm sitting on it. Like, when it comes to Callum Ritchie, yeah, that might sting going forward, and especially because they get number one pick, whoever they get will also get to aid Callum Ritchie. So that's going to be, it's only getting worse. So once again, former Avs making the Avalanche life miserable seems to be the narrative here lately. But when they made this deal, you get it. They tried to course correct from a weird, it was less than stellar start to the year. They brought him in for this rental to help correct the regular season and win a cup. You got half of that right. So it's a 50%. Sure, it's a wash, honestly, because nobody else really helped with that first round. Like, it falls on everybody, not just Brock Nelson. You can't just say, this is the reason the Avs got bounced. No, a lot of factors. Hey, guess what? The Avalanche team was up 2-0 in that third period. The whole team. So you were halfway there. The thing that really stings is, once again, we are getting ready for another offseason where we have to talk about who is the 2C for the Colorado Avalanche. Right. And that is a problem I would love. Like, we have known the goalie issue for a while. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The 2C issue has been a problem for a long time. And I would love to see that addressed, because you could start to get some kind of center core depth and identity once you know who's there, instead of this revolving door, says Kadri.
Yeah, and I don't like. I feel like you kind of also have to. The Richie thing is what it is. You have to wait to see how that plays out to kind of really grade this. But you also have to see, like, if the Avs don't sign Nelson, okay, what is their answer at 2C, and who is playing that role on puck drop of opening night next year? And if they go out and make a trade and it fills that role again. And it's comparative to Brock Nelson, or hey, maybe it's even a better deal. We don't know. Then if it's somebody that you like better, that maybe that fits better than Nelson, although I would love for him to come back because I feel like he's just tipping the ice over here. That's kind of where you have to play the tape to the end and see where it happens. Because if they don't, if Nelson walks, you lost the picks, you lost Richie, and now you're just kind of like, well, let's just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks type of thing again, then no, then all of this is just, yeah, you can go back and be like, yeah, none of this worked out for the Avs. None of it. You lost the guy you traded for rental, even though you knew full well it could have been a rental.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are okay with that. Hey, you go all in, throw all your chips in, see what happens. A lot of times it doesn't work out. And that's where the Avs are right now. And if it does work out, then we're not playing this game right now. But there's things still need to be filled out for me to really say it was a bad move or a good move. I mean, you can't say it was a good move because they didn't win. They didn't go far further than round one. But I can't look back right now and say like it was a bad move because I understood it, even though I didn't like the Richie part of it. But you have to see who does fill that role if it's not Brock Nelson, and then we can talk more about it.
Yeah, and Oliver Shillington, by the way, lasted 15 minutes on the island. He was traded out of there, so we could just take that piece out of the pie.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
count.
the other thing that I'd like to say about this, for the anti-McFarland crowd and the lukewarm McFarland crowd, at least he said, hey, we are going to take a swing for the fences. Yep. I want to go for the cup, instead of saying, no, this team will win a cup. He wanted to make the adjustments. So wherever you fall in that camp, at least he said, this is a move we should make. Callum Ritchie in the future, that might be a thing that stings us later, but this year we want the cup, and he went out to go get it. So you did all the right things. You didn't just say, nope, this is our team, we will do it, and then get the same result. He actually put some effort in there. So I will give him credit there.
Because if he doesn't do it, then you're on him for not doing enough.
Yep.
So can't win if you try, if you're in his role. So we will be having a grade for him. That's at the end of all these grades. So we that's going to be a interesting conversation.
That's going to be a whole hour.
Yeah. But we are going to start our grade season. We'll do that next with Mackenzie Blackwood. First, let's hear from Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? I don't wonder that because I buy stuff like this. This is just a Tesseract. Why? Because I was in Disney, I feel like I needed to be as Marvel as possible. So I bought a Tesseract. So that's where my money goes.
It's a justifiable purchase.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I mean, it is, but so for that question, where all my money go, I know where my money goes to stuff like this that just sits and collects dust. But between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, hockey jerseys, Tesseracts, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code is LOCKEDONNHL, and you get half off of your entire first year. Go check them out today. All right, sir. Season grade time. So we're going to dive in. Like we said, we do do this alphabetically. And just so happens it's Mackenzie Blackwood. There's no A's on the well, Mackenzie Blackwood gets an A. from me
Yeah,
anyway.
he does.
But no last name A's on the Avs this year. So if you're watching over on YouTube, we're gonna bring this thing. Oh, Kyle's doing his genie thing, which we've missed that, sir. We have missed it. So there you go. There's your season grade. Kyle and I can do plus minus because we have that power. Everybody else we can't, just because it limits you on how many outputs you can have for polls on the social medias. So they can only do straight A, B, C, D, F. But if you see for Kyle and I, we both went A. So no pluses or minuses there. Everybody went A. This is A's across the board. Subtext A, Instagram A, X A, YouTube A, and Threads all A's. I can give you percentages if you like. Over on YouTube, it was 57% A. On Threads, it was 66% A. On X, it was 55%. And on Instagram, it was 60%. And I think on Subtext, it was even higher. It was closer to 70% A. So personally, if he could have gotten just through one round, I might have gone A+ for him. I might have, because of just how the season started with the goaltending. It's been well documented. We've talked about it ad nauseum. And for him to come in and just kind of make you feel like we got the goalie situation settled. Was he perfect? Nope. But where we were to where we are, night and day, I think that's an easy A for me.
Yeah, we're given the Arthur Fonzarelli Award for all A's for the super goalie from Thunder Bay.
It all just fits together for Mackenzie Blackwood.
And I would give him an A+, but it's also no secret that I cheer for the Devils in the East. And I have seen this same performance in 2019-2020 for Mackenzie Blackwood when they were getting ready to give him the keys to the New Jersey Devils. And it did not come to fruition because of injuries. I've seen this story, like almost exact same numbers if you go back and look at it.
Why should that come into play for?
I want to see, because I've seen this and I literally bought into the hype and bought the man's New Jersey Devils jersey, which is hanging over there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see part 2. I want to see the continuation. So this was a great season. But I've learned not to get overly hyped. I have the tape on this because I was there. I have I was all ready for the Mackenzie Blackwood era in New Jersey. And now I'm seeing him do the exact same wonderful, incredible, stellar job. And by the way, it's not on him that the team got bounced in the playoffs. So he held on as much as he could. I loved his performance. It is very much an A. A+ would be maybe if he did. I agree with you. If he went one more round, that would earn an A+. I don't know if he could have done anything else in the regular season to earn that A+, because I want to see what else happens, because I've seen enough of this one season to get hyped. I want to see the follow-up.
So, I mean, man, you know what all that just brings me back to is Alexandar Georgiev.
I know.
Georgiev had a pretty good year his first year in Colorado. And his second year, he made the All-Star game. And then it just kind of went down there. From about halfway through the second season, it kind of just all imploded.
Blackwood,
I hope that's not Mackenzie Blackwood.
And to scare you a little bit more, Blackwood's thing was health.
Yeah, I've heard that he's had some, but I mean, he seemed pretty durable, at least with this season with the Avs. So
that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Like, this is beautiful, this is wonderful, and this is what you can expect, and this is what New Jersey was willing to make him the face of the goalie position in the East, not just the New Jersey Devils. And then health got in the way, and then he ended up going the route he went in San Jose and then Colorado. But I want this to be the reboot, and him actually carrying on his story.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and this is easily the best team that he's played on too.
yeah,
He hasn't had a team that's been in front of him. Although the Devils have turned it around and they, they're better than when he was there. He was with the Sharks. We all know that's just tough for anybody.
but he was putting up similar numbers with the Sharks too.
And he was playing decent for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Avs look at stuff like that and they're like, well, let's bring in this guy. They love his size. Like that, he's a big goalie. And sometimes that just helps you, but he moves quick for a big guy. And you have to in this league. You have to. And they like it enough to sign him to a 5-year deal. You don't know how it's going to go down the road, but I just feel like how the Avalanche just were so just like under a rock with their goalie situation. And he was just this beacon of hope.
Yeah.
And maybe that could have been for anybody. Maybe it could have been for it was maybe a little bit for Scott Wedgwood, even though he was your backup. Like, okay, moves are being made. And then you bring in Blackwood and you just look forward to there's more hope there with him than there was prior to when he got there, especially with Georgiev. It was just all over Georgiev's face, just like I just a deer in headlights look. Blackwood just has the vibe of like he can be this guy. He can be, and he's 28 years old, so he's just getting into his prime. And goalies sometimes take a little bit longer to really kind of mature more than your position players. So maybe the Avalanche are getting him at the perfect time where on a good team, and where more is expected of him. There's going to be moments where you need him to steal games, and he did that already. He did that a few times this year. So yeah, I mean but he's also got to do that night after night, year after year. And is he up for that? I mean, he's a professional in the National Hockey League. You would hope that he is. But now it's just like, okay, you've shown us what your potential is. Now you even got to bring it up a little bit more. As good as you were, you got to bring up a little bit more because this is a team that, they're going through maybe a little bit of changes, but they're still expected to go far in a playoff run. He's got to be a part of that. Has to be a part of it.
All the ingredients are there. All the ingredients are there.
Absolutely agree. So we got our subtext people, so they're going to chime in on that, and we'll do that right after this. All right. So as you can see, if you are watching on YouTube, our graphic there does have some comments from YouTube people, snippets of comments, or from our subtext people, I should say. So I wanted to get to some of those. So we got Shorzy here, the one and only Shorzy, says A for Blackwood because we couldn't give a minus or plus. I'd probably give him an A minus. His addition to the net and the locker room is indispensable. It's clear the team meshes with him well, and he shows up when needed. Playoff performance was good for it being his first ever appearance. That's another part of it. He got a little bit of a taste, got his feet wet of the playoffs. So you didn't go the way anybody wanted it to, but that was a big question. He's never been there before. Well, now he is. You don't have to answer that one anymore. Now he's there, and it was a tight series. It wasn't like they got swept. They went the distance on a 7-game series, so he's got that under his belt too. So none of those are excuses for next year. So I think that's a good point by him to bring that up too.
Yeah, I really like the point about what he brings to the locker room.
Yes,
because I've mentioned this a couple times. Go back and watch the early season and the vibes of that game with Georgian net, where he gets pulled against Anaheim, and then just your normal game with Blackwood and net. You don't even think about him being that back there. Like, it's just that confidence that not only the fans enjoy, but the defense and the forwards. They play a completely different game where they're not trying to survive the one shot, one goal Georgie experience that we had to deal with for the first quarter of the season. So I absolutely agree.
Yeah, the excuse me, the locker room angle is true too. He just has a different vibe about himself. Georgiev was just very that hockey player, just monotone, and that's fine. not saying you have to be this rah-rah guy all the time, but when you do have somebody like that, that's like infectious. And he seems like a little bit of goofball, with the 2 missing front teeth. And guys feed on it, keeps kind of like the locker room light a little bit. Then kind of like the chiseled, like, look of Georgiev all the time, just like a tough nut to crack type of guy. Where Blackwood just like, this is who I am, just take it or leave it. And that just loosens everybody up a little bit. So I think he's right on that part too. Yep. Lisa says he's got to be an A. Came in, gave the team solid goaltending. He was able to steal a few games, something that has been seriously lacking. It felt good to feel confident in a goalie again. Excited for what he can bring for a full season. And this kind of goes back to what I said before. Like you could have brought in a number of guys and felt better about where your goaltending was going compared to where it was with Annunen and Georgiev. But I just feel like they got the right guy. They just go out and get somebody just to make a replacement. They wanted to go out and get the guy that they feel can really contribute and get you far. And I feel like they do have it with him. I agree with Lisa. I feel confident that, you feel confident in a goalie again. And you haven't had that feeling for being an Avs fan in some years now.
Yeah, since Varlamov.
I mean, yeah, Varlamov, maybe to a little bit lesser extent Kemper, because I liked Kemper. He was a great locker room guy too.
That was a wild ride.
It was. Yeah, but I mean, really, since you're right, I mean, since a solid goaltender, since Varlamov, but he even tailed off at the end. It's kind of,
it was like 5 past Varley.
Yeah,
towards the end of that experience.
Madam Battleaxe says Blackwood's grade is an A because he really stepped up in a role and did a great job. He is our 1A and has a top tier smile, so that gave him extra points.
I mean,
are we grading on smiles now? I mean, you better not do that in your classroom, dude.
No. I'm stern but fair.
Yeah. Man, that'd be hilarious. And then finally, Vargar. He would give him a B-, A for the regular season, C+ for the playoffs. So that kind of averages out to a B-. He gives his save percentages and stuff like that, which I can bring those up. Solid in the regular season. We'll see if he can do the same in the playoffs. Jury is still out. Looked tense in both overtimes. 3 great games and 4 bad ones against the Stars. So, you could have as good as a regular season as you want, but if you do, again, not just him, anybody, if you keep having these first round exits, people are going to start asking questions. So We'll see. He's got to step it up in playoffs just like anybody else.
Like, I agree with Vargar, and like I've seen a lot of Blackwood. This has been a great. You couldn't ask for honestly any better for Blackwood. And in your first season with the Avs, you're not going out there and scoring goals. You're keeping them out. You did a very good job at that. You gave the team a chance. Next year is really where the notes are going to be taken and the grades are going to be shifting. So, great first campaign.
Right.
Let's see what you do for the part 2.
Just to bring up his stats, which I probably should have done in the beginning. My fault. 37. This is just for the Avs. 37 games played. He was 36 starts. 22, 12, and 3. 84 goals against. His save percentage regular season, this is .913. Goals against 2.33. 3 shutouts. 24 quality starts. What else we got here? That's really it. And then in the playoffs, dipped a little bit. 3 and 4, obviously, and was the 892. And that 900 mark, which everybody loves so much, he couldn't hit it. Couldn't hit it in the playoffs.
And I think 2019, 2020, he was a 918 with about the same sample size for save percentage on the regular season. So but that's a positive thing. Like, if the Devils are getting off that one season, are getting ready to give him the keys to the franchise, that should tell you a lot of things about what you could expect going into next year with the hype levels on Mackenzie Blackwood.
If he starts rolling next year, might be my next jersey purchase.
Same.
Might be my next one.
I wonder if I could send my Devils one to Fanatics and say, "Hey, what's that jersey assurance policy look like?"
You should be the guy that just like duct tapes the whole thing and just makes like an A out of like the Devils logo. And yeah, because was he the same number on
39?
Was he 39 with the Devils too? Has he always been 39? Okay, all right. So you don't have to change that part.
Nope.
Yeah, just change the logo on the front. There you go.
I can wear it all the time.
Still wear it.
Yes.
Why not? Why not? I mean, he played for them. It's not like that part of his life disappears. Like
it's my first. It's a combo jersey for me. It's a current Av and a Devils jersey.
Love it. So, all right. So next up, we'll do this on Wednesday. That will be Mr. Ross Colton.
Ooh boy,
big old Ross. We got a grade for him coming up on Wednesday. So, start thinking of how we're going to grade him. So that will be for Wednesday, but we'll be back tomorrow with a fresh episode. Anything going on in Avalanche Nation, we will be talking about it. So tune in to that. But for this one, thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where you made it through another 24 hours. Sidney Crosby is that much closer to being a Colorado Avalanche. Hey, his last name starts with C. We can give him a grade.
Can he just retire now?